We're back, and this time with one of the highest levers you can use to squeeze all the juice from your email marketing. I can't stress this enough how pop-ups are so important. And if you don't realize how important they are, it's just because you never did the math. So that is what we're going to do today, and I'm going to show you how you can triple your email list growth and make a ton more money just by changing this thing alone. Here you have some quick links to my socials, my Instagram, my Twitter, and our website in case you want our help to scale your business and take care of your email marketing. So please feel free to check it out. Today, we'll be going over why is it so important, and please don't skip this part. It's really necessary that you understand why is this so important, just so you put the right effort into it. Second, big mistakes to avoid, and this will cost you a lot of money, so make sure you don't do these mistakes. 3, types of pop-ups, so the different kinds there is and the ones you should be using. 4, the perfect pop-up formula, just so you can copy it and still do it today. And 5, how to split test your form. And this is what is going to take you to the 10% sign-up rate. For starters, why is it so important? First of all, this is very important just because of the current e-commerce market for 2024 and 2025. First of all, we can speak about customer acquisition and the way it has changed, and it is still changing because the ad costs will keep increasing in price. They will not get any cheaper. They will get more expensive by the day. There is, in fact, an exponential demand because of the online world, because every business is going online. So this will just keep increasing. And this is, in fact, exponential. It's getting worse every time. And this way, the strategy of running ads to a cold traffic is dead. Is officially dead. Second, we have to mention the fact that our shoppers are getting more educated. So if they're more educated, they're getting more skeptical. This way, there's no more impulsive buyers, and you'll have to build trust and give proof to your potential customers. So for us to survive and thrive, we'll have to value every penny that we're spending on ads. If we're not converting people straight away, we have to make sure that we're converting them into a follower or an email subscriber. This way we can build a relationship and market for free or almost for free. And comparing these two, we have to consider emails better than socials because we do not have to fight against the algorithm. If your deliverability is good and if you're pushing good emails, your customers will see your emails. Also, this is so important because it's the most ridiculous low-hanging fruit you'll ever come across, okay? And for this, to show you this, we're now going to do the math. Let's compare a bad form with a great form. So in terms of audience quality, we're considering that our audience is coming from ads. So it is the same for the bad pop-up or the great pop-up is the exact same. And this will convert the same in terms of visitors. So we have 50,000 visitors for the bad one and for the great one. For the bad one, we have a pop-up form conversion rate of 3%. So from these 50,000 people converting at 3% rate, we'll get 1,500 new subscribers. With an AOV of $100 and considering that your welcome flow will convert at a rate of 10%, the final revenue, 1,500 times $100 times 10%, you'll get $50,000 at the end of, let's consider, the month. On the other hand, if instead of a 3% conversion rate, we have a 9% conversion rate with the same visitors, we'll get 4,500 new subscribers. With the same AOV, average order value of $100, and considering that our welcome flow conversion rate is the exact same, we have the exact same welcome flow, so the exact same conversion rates of 10%. Once again, 4,500 times $100 times 10%, you'll get at the end of the month $45,000. A $30,000 difference with the welcome flow only. With a great pop-up form, we're adding 3,000 extra subscribers that we can email over and over again and these are new subscribers. So they're going straight to an engaged segment that we're going to be emailing with our campaigns. So we're just considering the welcome flow alone. We're not considering any extra flows that they might go through, and they will for sure go through some other flows. And we're not considering any campaigns that we're going to be sending to them across the following months. But then there's a problem that a lot of people raise, which is, what about the website conversion rate? So for this, the answer is all brands use pop-up nowadays. Name one brand, one very big brand that you know from the e-commerce world, for example, Gymshark, they use a pop-up. Name another one and you'll come to the conclusion that they use a pop-up. So people are used to it and they're expecting it already. And besides that, everyone likes a deal. So people are already waiting for your pop-up and they're hoping for getting a good deal on that pop-up. Now, biggest mistakes, and please make sure you avoid all of these. Asking too much stuff. This is a big one. For example, asking name, age, email, number. People will just automatically close the form. So you want to ask for the email on the first step, and you want to ask for the phone number on the next step. You want to make sure you have just one request per step. Then you want to avoid too much copy. This is a big one as well. Cut the fluff, stick to what matters, keep it short and very, very clear. So be very objective. Another big one, obviously, is a bad offer. So if your offer is sign up to stay tuned on, nobody cares about that. Or sign up and get 5% off. 5% is not a considerable discount to ask in return for an email address. Would you sign up for that? That is the easiest way for you to think of your offer and think if it is a good offer or a bad one. And for example, if you're considering a 5% off because you have a large average order value, please consider doing $1 off discount instead of a 5%. Makes a lot of difference in terms of psychology. So you have to give them a good reason to sign up. You might not even want to use a discount. So for example, you can use a guide and really give useful information on that guide, give free stuff, or give a good discount. Then we have bad CTAs. There's a lot of bad CTAs out there. You don't want to put, for example, subscribe or continue. And on this one, continue, you're giving the impression that there is a next step. And even if you have a next step, don't use continue. You want to make sure that they go through the first one. And once they go through the first one, they're way more likely to go through the next one and the next one. So you want to use something like claim 10% off or get my freebie. Very simple and very easy to understand why this is better. And to finish, we have delay and loading times. So if you have a 0-second delay, your sign-up rate and your conversion rate will both drop. This is very annoying. By the second that your website loads, the person will get the pop-up straight away. They won't be able to see anything. They will get mad, they will close your pop-up, and they will probably not even keep shopping. So you both lose the chance to get their email and to get them shopping. Give them at least 3 seconds on the site before you release your pop-up. So consider your delay between 4 seconds and 10 seconds. And for fast loading, so that we don't get a pop-up that just shows up and then it's loading like bit by bit, just remember to compress your images. If you have images on your pop-up, make sure you compress them before you use them. Now, types of pop-up. In terms of size, you might have a 1-step, a 2-step, or a 3-step. These ones are the most common. And this is not counting on the thank you message, and this is assuming that you have one request per step only. So we have the common one, and the common one looks something like this. So giving the discount, in this case 10% off. Here we have the box to request the email or the phone number, and then we have the sign up button, or no, I'd rather pay full price. Then we have what I like to call a small yes or a micro commitment pop-up. And for this one, and I'm not saying that this is a good example in terms of copy or CTA. It's kind of lame, join the community. But just for you to understand, this small yes that we're seeking, or the micro commitment from the client side that we're seeking, is just, for example, let's say you have a discount at 10% off. So you're going to make a pop-up, for example, saying fancy 10% off. And then you get a button saying get my 10% off or no thanks. So what we want first is just a commitment from their side saying that they really want that 10%. And once they confirm that they want the 10%, they'll get to the next step, where we ask them for their email. Now we also have the spin to win. As you can see here, it's very used on the e-commerce space as well. And here, for example, we have the spin to win and the sign up form right here at the same step, but we can also have it at 2 separate steps as well. And finally, we also have the quiz. This one is pretty easy to understand as well. We're asking our customers some specific questions just so we can understand their preferences, or for example, for us to segment our list based on their interests. But you should only be doing this if you really need this kind of segmentation, because otherwise you'll decrease the chances of them giving you their email address. Unless you ask them in the beginning, but then the likelihood of them answering your questions is also very low. Now, the perfect formula for you to build your pop-up. First, we have to define what we want. If we want their email, if we want their email and their phone number, or for example, if you need extra information through the quiz that we just saw. Then we have to define what we're going to give back to them. So our offer, if we're going to give a discount, if we're going to give a freebie. Then we have to choose our form type according to our audience. So go through the types that we just saw and think about which one would fit your audience better. Then we just have to build it on Klaviyo. And here's the tip. You should be doing 2 forms. Stick with the mobile first and you build it, and then you duplicate it and you build the desktop one, just because this way you won't have any restrictions when designing one and designing another, because they'll be separate. Then we just have to look for mistakes, and once again you can use this document and go through the mistakes that we mentioned. This document will be in the description. And finally, you just have to split test it, and this is what is going to take you to the 10% conversion rate, and we're going to be covering it next. But first, let me just show you a couple of good examples here from Dr. Squatch, the mobile version. As you can see, pretty simple offer, pretty good offer considering it's a huge brand, very clear message, very short on text. In this case, I don't think the CTA is the best one, but as you know, sometimes these big brands have the need to be as politically correct as they can be. So in this case, we have the continue. But for example, in this one here, the CTA is already more objective. In this case, this is from Rich, and this is the desktop version. Here you can't really see the dimensions, but it is a big pop-up, and that is what we want. We don't want the customers to be ignoring our pop-up. Once again, very simple messaging, very simple to understand. Unlock up to 47% off. As you can see here, you can play around with sizes and colors to make it very easy to read and to skim and to understand everything. Then we have the email box and the CTA button. And here you have the no thanks, but very little. And here the X. So as a pro tip for you to split test, this is a very good one. As you know, people instinctively close any pop-up that shows. This is very simple to understand. Since the beginning of advertising online, people have been educated just to close everything. So what you want to split test is on Klaviyo to make the X transparent. And obviously, if you're making the X transparent, you have to make the no thanks bigger. Split test these, because the point here is to make them choose, make the customer choose between getting the discount or shopping and paying full price. And finally, we have the split test. And once again, this is how you aim for a 10% sign-up rate. So you can see here the inverse pyramid. This is here just for you to remember the order by you should be testing, just because, for example, offer is way more important than the colors. So starting with offer, you have to choose between giving a % off or making a $1 off deal or giving free stuff. Then with the type, you have to choose your pop-up type, but if I were you, I would focus on testing the pre-sign up step, having it or not. So having a first step asking if they want the discount, and then having a second step where we ask for the email itself. Then you should also test the X thing, really makes the difference, so test it out. Then you also have the CTA and the copy that you probably already understood because of the mistakes we already went over. And finally, stuff like colors that might change slightly the conversion rates or the way that people skim your pop-up. And before you go, if you want to add $50,000 to $250,000 to your MRR in the next 60 days, I would like to offer you a free audit of your Klaviyo account. I have a video here explaining everything. It's the same video we have on our website. And here you have the calendar to book a call with me. Feel free to book a call. And other than that, as you already know, this document will be in the description, and you also have here the link to our website. So feel free to take a look into our website right here. See you on the next one and hope you like it.